Ayan. Let's start. So, thank you guys for coming, no? I really appreciate your time ngayon. So we're now in our second extension ng training, second set ng training series natin. So, we're now going to be talking about the people component ng system natin, no? So it says here people finding the right people and putting them in the right seat. All right? So again, dito tayo sa second extension ng still part ng mini training series natin on how to organize and grow your business using the EOS system. All right? Okay. So, let me see. I'll be totally dependent dito sa slide. Okay, I guess I just wanted to start. I wanted to start with this quote. If your business depends on you, you don't own a business, you have a job. So, napaka self-explanatory naman niya, 'di ba? If your business is running with you on it, parang hindi siya makakatakbo nang wala ka, it means self-employed ka, you're not a business owner. And yun nga yung gusto nating maiwasan, 'di ba, ng mga kliyente is for them to get more freedom when it comes to time, not just finances. Para turuan natin yung mga clients natin on how to become business owners, not just self-employed employees. So it says here, if your business depends on you, you don't own a business, you have a job. And it's the worst job in the world because you're working for a lunatic. Sabi ni Michael E. Gerber, author ng librong Email. So, outline lang ng call natin today, yung goal of the training, importance ng core values. We're going to be talking about people analyzer, how to use the accountability chart, GWC, saka building the right seat. Okay? So quick recap lang. Naaalala nyo pa ba guys yung 6 components ng EOS na diniscuss natin? Sino pa dito yung nakakaalala nun? Magsabi na. Please. May nakakaalala pa ba nun? Yung 6 key components? Wala? Ikaw, Marge? Wala? Kailangan pa ba natin magpa-Gcash? Grabe naman.
Sasagot na ba?
Sige, sagot ka na, Eve.
Sige, si
Na
Mark.
si Eve na pala.
Hindi, ikaw, Ikaw na. Go.
A vision, people. Pwede bang in any order?
Sige, in any order.
Traction, data, process, and issues.
Ay, ang galing mo. Very good. 300 yan, Boss Jacob, ha? Pa-send na lang yung Gcash.
May pang na.
Thank you, Marge. So yun lang, tama yung sinabi ni Marge, no? Ito, we're still, baka para lang hindi kayo ma-derail. So we're still talking about the 6 key components. Ngayon, yung people yung pag-uusapan natin, and our goal here is to strengthen the key component na people na yun, okay? So di ba last week we talked about the vision, the integrator, and how they work together, no? So ngayon, we're gonna be talking about yung the other members of the team, okay, which is yung people. We have to make sure na solid yung mga tao natin around us, not just ourselves. Okay, so let me share my screen again. So it says here, I want to start with core values. No? According to EOS, core values define your culture. They should also be used when hiring, recognizing, rewarding, celebrating, and occasionally terminating people based on whether they live your core values or not. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa'yo kanina, Joyce, sa Candle Cafe. No? Kailangan babalik tayo dun sa parang pinaka-core natin when it comes to assessing the people. So, yun nga yung core values. These are, in my own words, these are the intangible assets of the business that needs to be labeled and shared to everyone to serve as a guide on how to represent the company better. Okay? This will also help determine the right candidates to your organization. So, like I said kanina, babalik lang ako. you use core values when finding people, when recognizing them, when rewarding them as well. Okay. Now, I know these fancy words don't is not enough. So I thought maybe I come up with a specific scenario for you guys. Okay. So for example, here, we're still talking about core values, diba? So for example, we have a client here. His name is Pedro. Okay, he's a business owner. He's our client. He owns a store. All right. Now, si Pedro, he's the typical visionary, typical entrepreneur. Meron he owns let's say a rubber shoe store, di ba? A shoe store. Let's say nakatira siya let's say sa Manila, and then he's doing everything from inventory to marketing to customer service and all that stuff, di ba? So 1 year has passed. Okay yung business niya, di ba? Nag-grow, lumaki, naging stable. And then let's say for example, one day may customer na lumapit kay Pedro. Let's say he's from another city, like from Cebu. Sinabi niya, "Uy Pedro, okay itong mga sapatos mo, okay itong mga produkto mo and the way you handle your business. I wish you have another store in our city in Cebu." Tapos syempre si Pedro as a typical entrepreneur, he got interested, di ba? He saw an opportunity. So he decided to put up another branch, a second store in Cebu, di ba? Now, so syempre, pag nag-install ka ng branch mo, mag-expand ka na, of course you have to hire people, di ba? Now, aside from the typical, a typical process of like finding the best candidate through their skill set, it's also best kasi 'di ba syempre when you install a new staff or team member in a certain position, it's expected na 'di ba na kaya mo sila hinarden is for them to perform their duty. Pero there's this certain way that you want to handle things, that you want to run the business, 'di ba? And that in those specific set of things, yun yung sa core values. Like for example, paano ba mag-handle ng customer si Pedro? Like for lagi siyang very 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 light yung mukha niya, lagi siyang cheerful, he goes the extra mile, 'di ba? And he always makes sure that all his customers are attended. So, yun yung mga core values ni Pedro that helped him become successful dun sa unang store niya. And that he thinks that every member of his business needs to have yung mga values na yun para yung mga stores niya sa ibang site would also perform as same as dun sa initial store niya. Gets niyo ba? Nasusundan niyo ba ako? So again, so si Pedro nag-decide na siya to install yung the same a new manager in that site. So naghanap siya ng tamang skill set, naghanap siya ng tamang core values. And then once you find that person, that's when you can say na this is the right fit na for that job. So that's the time na that's the time na you can go ahead and scale now once you've already fine-tuned that process. So magkakaroon ka na ng store 2, store 3, store 4, and then a group of Pedro which share the same core values as you do. So doon na mabubuo yung company culture na sinasabi nila. Gets nyo? Kasi when you have the same group of people who does things for the common mission that shares the same value, tipong magkakaugali sila, 'di ba? So that's how company culture forms. Okay? Now, na-gets nyo ba? So, I'll go ahead and proceed with the next slide, no? This is the people analyzer. Now, in order for us to, kasi ang hirap pag sinabing ano ba yung ugali ba nitong taong to pasok sa culture ng company ko, 'di ba? Parang ang hirap. So, we have a people analyzer. So, this is something like a tool in order for us to know na this person is a good fit for the culture or not. Okay? So again, siguro tinatanong nyo, VA lang naman ako, bakit ko naman kailangan alamin to? Again, we're grooming you to become better business leaders someday. If you're working directly with the client, one-on-one, someday, di ba, ang goal natin is palakihin yung business ni client. It's important for you guys to have a background or understand how to parang build the right seats and find the right people and set up the infrastructure in the business for growth. Okay? So again, babalik lang tayo dito sa people analyzer. How we use this is, for example, you just have to label or set yung mga core values that you want your team members to have, diba? So it's according to sa libro, they're suggested to have at least 5 to 7 core values. So committed to success, growth oriented, elevates others, acts with integrity, creative problem solving, positive attitude, and systematic. Okay? So let's say, for example, babalik tayo kay Pedro. Ito yung mga qualities ni Pedro that made him that helped him become successful dun sa first branch niya, diba? So, syempre, kung gumana yon sa first branch niya, it's obvious naman, diba? Bakit hindi niya na kailangang i-multiply yung sarili niya para gumana rin yun sa mga succeeding branch. So, that's why we have the people analyzer. Ngayon, it says here, how to use the people analyzer is, for example, si Nux, ilalagay mo lang siya dito, employee number 1. Tapos si Joyce, employee number 2. Tapos si Eve, employee number 3. And what you want to happen is you want to assess them, diba, as the manager or the owner. For example, si Eve, diba, lalagay niya dito, i-check niya, does Janus possess these qualities? Parang you assess them, no? Committed ba siya sa success? How you grade an individual pala is you only put positive if you see that trait or negative if you don't see that at all, or positive negative kapag sometimes, like this, inconsistent. And then so you set like a bar for the organization na ito yung acceptable na parang na standard when it comes to your people displaying the core values. Gets nyo? So, may tanong ba? Gets mo? Nasusundan mo, Eve?
Yeah.
Okay.
And di ba
So,
dun sa parang dun sa bar, it would be a perfect parang for the organization if it should just be positive and positive minus, never a minus.
yes, exactly. Pero that has never happened eh. Walang perfectong kumpanya, especially when a company becomes so big. Syempre, that's a set of different individuals, eh, 'di ba? So hindi pwedeng it's expected na hindi lahat ng taong makakasalubong mo dun sa office mo possesses these qualities. Gets mo? So kaya meron tayong usually na sinaset na parang acceptable na parang shrinkage, alam mo yun, buffer na negative. So that's for the initial part, no, core value. So again, for example, si Janos, ilalagay mo dyan. So si Eve, i-assess niya, nakitaan ko ba ng commitment to success si Janos? Nung time na nag-brown out ba sa probinsya nila, ano ba yung ginawa niya? Pumunta ba siya sa tita niya? Just in order for him to make sure that his deliverables are being sent on time. So that's a sign of commitment, di ba? So if you've seen that, constantly na kahit lagi nagbabrown out sa kanila, kahit nawawalan ng internet, kahit laging bumabaha, pumupunta pa rin sa PisoNet si Janus para mag-shift, di ba? So definitely positive siya, di ba? And you want to go ahead and assess that. So this is what you use again to reward, to reward, to penalize, or to assess your teammates or the people that you handle. Gets mo? So again, this is more for managers. Pero if you're planning to start a business, it's also good na to have these sets of parang qualifiers in order for you to make sure. Kasi ang hirap makatrabaho ng taong hindi naman kaugali, no? But kasi again, like I said, it doesn't have to be 100%, but it's best for you to surround yourself with people that are similar like you, 'di ba?
Correct.
Na 'di ba, that acts with integrity. Ang hirap makahanap ng katrabaho na laging negative sa acts with integrity, 'di ba? Ikaw ang ayos-ayos mo. nagra-run ka ng time mo on time, tapos maririnig mo dun sa katrabaho mo, nagra-run lang ng timer, tapos hindi naman pala nagtatrabaho. Diba?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that we surround ourselves with the people that share our common values. Okay?
Mhm.
So, okay na tayo sa people analyzer, di ba? Nagets niyo na. Meron pa akong ano dito pa slide kay Pedro. So, nagets niyo na yung idea na yun, di ba? Okay, so the next slide, it's about the accountability chart. So, Gino Wickman in the book is saying that in every business, ito yung parang pinaka-basic structure. Okay? So, if you're starting like yung store ni Emel, for example, 'di ba? Siyempre nag-start lang siya lahat sa sales and marketing kasi nga brick and mortar business siya. Pero as she expands, 'di ba? You have to, as the business owner or as the manager or as the integrator, as someone who works directly with the client, um, you have to step back a little bit and look at the business on a higher level, 'di ba? So
Mhm.
as the business grows, you you structure it for growth. So ito nga yung sinasabi nila, it can be divided into three main departments, 'di ba? Some companies have several departments, of course, pero ito lang yung parang pinaka three basic, that sales and marketing, operations, and then accounting and admin or finance. Okay? So again, these are all interconnected. Siyempre, these should all work together and should be overseen by the integrator. Okay? Kasi again, the integrator is the glue that binds all these departments. Siya yung parang sapot. Okay? Kasi sometimes yung organization chart, it's not as simple as this eh. Sometimes merong mga, alam mo yun, merong mga other departments that you have to be familiar with. So the integrator's job is to make sure that everyone is connected within each other so that whenever sales and marketing needs some data from accounting and finance, they can just easily connect, di ba? So ito yung parang pinaka-basic structure ng accountability chart. Okay? Ito example ng updated accountability chart ng leveling up. So as you can see here in our example, 'di ba? Visionary, integrator, and then operations. Ito yung internal, ito yung finance and accounting, sales and marketing, 'di ba? Meron kami dito syempre yung mga set of contractors, which is yung creatives. Pero if you can see, ito pa rin yung tatlong main departments nung organization. And then syempre yung PVL team nila, yung mga ISA, syempre wala sila dito kasi ibang team sila. And then yung mga VA. Okay? So that's that. That's for the accountability chart. Okay, so next slide. It says here, understanding your role in the workplace is knowing where you fit within the culture of your organization. It is where you will have the best opportunity to provide value and grow, di ba? So ang goal natin is again for the people to be in the right seat. I mean for the right people to be in the right seat, di ba? Kasi once you are in that position, di ba, doon ka magfa-flourish eh. Kasi each of us, di ba, individuals have our own skill set, di ba? And kaya tayo nandito, kaya tayo hinar dun sa organization na yun, it's in order for us to share yung talent natin, no? Yung skill set na meron tayo in order for us to provide value. So, as the manager or as the integrator, or as the business owner, responsibility natin to understand saan ilalagay, saan itatanim yung tamang buto kung anong klaseng lupa. Gets nyo? So when the roles in an organization are set clear, what naturally happens is everyone knows what to do, everything gets done, people work together better, and less energy is wasted. Diba? Kasi nga, that's na yung tanong na, ano ba itong ginagawa ko? Hindi ko naman naiintindihan to. So magtatanong ka na naman. Minsan, paulit-ulit yung ginagawa nyo and all that redundancy, diba? So what should you understand? What should you do to understand your role better? So now that you know the importance of having an accountability chart, it's time to write up a clear job description for yourself or your team. So ano yung mga kailangang alamin, di ba? As you build your organization or accountability chart. You have to understand, you have to finalize ano ba yung job title ng taong to, ano ba yung characteristics na kailangan niya. Like for example, kung customer service role ba to, kailangan pleasing personality, di ba? Kung lead generation role ba to, um, kailangan assertive, di ba? Kung graphics artist role ba to, kailangan creative siya, obviously. And then at the same time, interested in marketing, things like that, di ba? So yun yung mga characters and traits that you're looking for that specific role. And then you also have to understand who are you reporting to? Sino yung manager mo? Sino yung direct superior mo? Para when it comes to, finding who assesses you or sino yung accountable sa'yo, you know where to find them. Kasi nga, nandun yun sa job description mo. Okay? And then lastly is yung deliverables and timeline. So again, as a VA naman, para siguradong maintindihan mo kung ano yung responsibilities mo, bakit ka nandito sa company na to, it's best to identify all these 4 things. Gets nyo? Okay. So now that you understand your role, ito na yung kompletong version ng People Analyzer. Okay? So, basically, it's, again, itong whole training na to, it can be subdivided into 2 main parts lang talaga. It's, again, finding the right people and putting them in the right seat. So, yung mga core values na minention ko kanina, ito yan, di ba? Yung 7. So ito yung qualifiers or criteria in order for us to make sure that you have the right people. Kasi nga when you say the right people, it means people that share your core values, 'di ba? Yung in a way parang ka-wavelength mo, ka-ugali mo. Yung pasok kayo sa kultura, nagja-jive kayo, 'di ba? Hindi yung parang kumbaga, in short parang may spark. Gets nyo? So yun eh. That's when you can feel that I have the right person. Now it's hard to find those type of people eh. Kasi syempre iba-ibang ugali tayo. Now once you find that right person that fits your culture, you have to make sure that they are in the right seat. So dito sa complete chart na to ng People Analyzer, we show here na we've added 3 qualifiers. We call them GWC or Quiet Eden or gets it, wants it, or has the capacity to do it. Okay. So again, as you use this tool, like for example, again, Eve, if you put Janos, Marge, or Emel here, you assess them, di ba? You assess them if they possess kung growth-oriented ba sila, do they elevate others, di ba? So if they possess dyan, pasado sila. Pero you have to make sure that every member of your team possesses, pasado dito sa gets it, wants it, and capacity to do it. Kasi if they don't, di ba? If they don't get their job, if they don't understand their job, then bakit ka pa nandyan? Malamang mali-mali yung ginagawa mong trabaho, di ba? And if they don't want the job, then obviously, mahihirapan kang papasukin yung taong yun. Malamang lagi mong hinahanap yun, laging nakakatulog, laging absent. Kasi nga, alam mo, nararamdaman mo na hindi siya nag-e-enjoy, hindi niya talaga gusto yung trabaho niya. Diba? And then yung capacity to do it is sometimes, syempre, we all have limitations. Mapa-schedule ba yan? Yung understanding, experience-wise. So you have to consider that. Okay? So these are the things that you have to ask yourself as the manager or the business owner or the integrator na when assessing your staff or your people, you have to ask na ano ba, do they get it, do they want it, and do they have the capacity to do it? Okay? So meron ako mga questions dito ang nilagay. So for example, kasi nga, parang it's all big principles and ideas, pero how will you really apply it, 'di ba, sa business mo or sa business ni client? So how will ano ba yung naglagay ako dito ng mga parang guide questions, no? So pag ikaw as a manager, what are the things that you need to ask? So you ask yourself, do all the neurons in his or her brain connect when you explain and they do the job, 'di ba? It means they get it, 'di ba? does he or she get all of the ins and outs of the position? 'Di ba? Hindi mo na sila kailangan pang spoon feed maya't maya. And not everyone gets it, and it's not bad. It's not a bad thing, or he or she just needs to be in a different seat. Okay. So again, as at the end of the day, you have to understand, if they don't fit your company culture, it doesn't mean that they're a bad person. It only means na ibang tao sila, and they have to move on, they have to move forward. It's either they have to look for another organization that fits their core value, yung ugali nila, 'di ba? Kasi nga everybody deserves a happy workplace. And
Correct.
'di ba? Obviously, if you don't fit that company culture, then you don't belong there. Hindi ko sinasabi na outcast ka, pero doon tayo dun sa path of the least resistance, 'di ba? Kung tingin mo lagi kang may friction between your coworkers in that organization, again, it obviously means na you lack the core values that everybody else have. Okay? So again, so in order for you to know that this person gets it, you ask yourself, does he get all the ins and outs of the position? Okay? So that's for one sit. And for gets it. For one sit, you ask, does he or she genuinely want to do the job? Mararamdaman mo yan as a manager, di ba? Again, ito yung mga taong lagi nakakatulog sa trabaho, laging kailangan mo pang paalalahanan na mag-in on time, late sa meeting. So ito yung mga taong to, di ba? So you ask them, do you really want the job, di ba? Kasi I want to put why here, pero nakikita ko parang I don't see the commitment, I don't see the effort, di ba? So you tell me, do you really want the job or not? Kasi kailangan, as a manager or as a business owner, you have to understand, kailangan why lahat to in order for that seat to function. Okay? Okay. So ayan, you can't pay or motivate the Okay, so ayan, does he or she get up every morning wanting to do it, or you can't pay, motivate, force, or beg him or her to want it. He or she has to want it on his or her own. Si Catherine Imperial.
Late. Si ano yan?
Okay. Okay.
SPBP.
Okay. Okay. So, yung last needs the capacity to do it. Paano malalaman na they have the capacity to do it? Does he or she have the mental, physical, spiritual, time, knowledge, emotional, even yung schedule, have the capacity to do it? Diba? If they don't, if you think na no and ang answer dito, then you have to make sure that then you have to find another seat for that person. It means hindi siya fit dun sa role na yon. Pasok siya sa company culture pero hindi siya pasok sa yung skill set requirements. Okay? So that's that.
Yeah, perfect
Yun,
for performance evaluation as
yes,
well.
exactly.
Just malapit na.
Mm-mm. So as managers yun, or business owners, kaya this is perfect for Joyce, this is perfect for Eve. Ayan, si business owner din si Emil. So this is perfect for actually everyone eh. What we need
Yeah.
to do is parang we need to assess every member of the organization na pag tingin yung ay mababa yung negative siya dito, parang sunod-sunod siya negative. At least now you know na how to approach that person, na you can be subjective pagdating sa, alam mo yun, kasi parang we're talking about ugali here eh. Gets mo? So,
Correct.
in a way, parang it's hard to be subjective when it comes to yung ugali ng tao, di ba?
Mhm.
Syempre may mga ibang kasama yon. So you can now parang pinpoint ano ba yung kulang, bakit
Mhm.
parang ang tagal na nitong taong to sa organization na to pero parang hindi pa rin siya, alam mo yon, hindi ko pa rin nakikita sa kanya yung qualities that I see in everyone else. So you use this people analyzer, okay? So again, so yun lang, quick summary lang. So people analyzer, yung importance ng core values and how it could help you scale your business, 'di ba? And then yung accountability chart. as you grow your group, as you grow your team, look at it at a higher level. Um, so 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 compartmentalize each yung mga role kasi um, two people can share the same. I mean, two seats can share the same people, but not two people. But two people cannot share the same seat. Gets nyo? So as an example, as you can see here, two people cannot share the same seat. So hindi yan. Dito dapat ako tayo nandito. So as you can see here, meron akong role dito sa operations, pero din akong role dito sa sales. As you can see, um, parang two people, tama ba sinabi ko? Two people cannot share the same seat, but two seats can share the same person. Yan. Okay, uwian na tayo. Nandito na si Daika. Okay, so yun lang. Nagets nyo ba, guys? O may questions kayo?
Yes, we got it. Tapos ang ano ko lang parang key or takeaway ko from everything that you've said is for the core values, maganda yung okay yung core values mo. You have a good set of core values. You have a great vision. But without the great people, it is irrelevant. So kailangan talaga we need to make sure that you are recruiting the best people into the company. And yung dun sa accountability, parang it's a critical that we get the right people in the right seat kasi it is critical for the success of the business. Kasi sometimes,
Tama.
so siguro hindi lang sa point of view of a manager, kung ako as a VA, I need to know na kung para mag-gets ko din, why sometimes ito kakapasok lang nito sa company, ang bilis nito na promote. Siguro it is also for us to have a self-assessment na check your attitude, yung ano mo sa trabaho mo. Kasi baka nga ikaw dito ka na ng 2 years, na-stuck ka na dyan sa position without having your self-growth or your career within the company. Then ito 2 months pa lang, nabibigyan na ng mga ganyan. So it is also something that you can use to have a self-assessment na, ay baka kasi, baka nga hindi ko na gusto tong trabaho na to. Baka nandun ka na sa point na burnout ka na. Maybe you started with the company with the same vision ng company, but in time, baka hindi na. So it is also a way for you to be able to check or do a self-check using this.
Totoo. Tama. Yung people analyzer.
Jordan, correct.
Oo. Pang self-assessment din siya eh, if you really think na nandun ka sa tamang trabaho, sa right seat mo, di ba? Do I get the job? So if you feel like, no ba, kung lagi ako nagkakamali, pero gusto ko naman yung trabaho ko, and I have the capacity to do it, I believe I can. So siguro baka dun sa gets it na part, kailangan kong i-improve yun, di ba? So anong gagawin mo? Tanungin mo na lang yung superior mo, yung supervisor mo na ano ba yung kulang ko, ano yung mga kailangan ko malaman, di ba? Kasi I want to make sure that I'm in the right seat eh. So yun. Again, this is perfect siguro pang mga pag Kim, perfect to. Like for example, pag magi-interview ka ng mga new hire na VA, pag magi-exit interview ka ng mga nag-resign na VA, you check, 'di ba? Bakit ba siya nag-resign? Dahil ba may pagkakamali kami or dahil he just doesn't he's not in the right seat or maybe he's not the right person for the group. So yun nga, it takes away the subjectivity. Mas magiging objective ka, mas mapipinpoint mo kung ano yung mga kailangang i-improve. Okay? Again, if that person doesn't fit your culture, if that person doesn't fit the right seat, it doesn't mean that they're not a good person or, 'di ba? Or tamad sila or what. It's just that yung skill set na binigay sa iyo ng Diyos hindi para doon sa pinagbagsakan mo ngayon. So yun lang. Gano'ng katagal tayo? May questions pa, guys?
Wala po.
na.
Okay
Wala
na po.
na. Sige. Pag may mga follow-up questions kayo, just let us know um, para masagot namin kaagad. Shinare ko yung slides, yung link ng slides dun sa Zoom link. And then next week, hopefully next week we can push for another 1 hour training session. Next week, medyo, alam ko ngayon medyo irrelevant sa most of the VAs kasi nga parang yung people component pang manager eh. Pero next week, next session, we're gonna be discussing yung data component. So medyo exciting na siya, hopefully sa inyo. sa business world, exciting yung data kasi nga it's more on numbers, scorecard, KPI. So we're gonna be discussing how to measure your performance and what to measure in the first place. So hopefully we'll see you again next week so that we can go ahead and share with you yung what we know and how we operate pagdating dun sa data component part ng business. Okay? So, yun lang. I'll end the recording.